Swerve, on a personal level, how are you enjoying your first run as AEW World Heavyweight Champion?
This is probably the most important time of my career. It's not just like for me the accomplishment of like making history in AEW, but just for like the influence outside of it. It's like being the first and being the moment where like people are like really paying so much more attention. Got the kind of like the magnifying glass on you a little bit harder because of the time and the history and all the importance surrounding the moment of like winning a dynasty and stuff like that. Now following week by week and how I'm moving, how I'm being presented, how I'm performing, everything is just like amplified so much more. So this is probably the most important time than say like maybe if I become the four-time champion. The first one, people are always going to come back to the first one no matter what. So this is the most important time. So I'm moving very calculated. I'm moving very cautiously, and I'm performing very cautiously as well.
Swerve, you consider yourself to be an artist. I heard you say that before, not just in the sense of being a musician and the fashion and all of the stuff like that, but you seem to be an artist in the ring. Do you view yourself as being an artist in the ring?
Oh yeah, 100%. Just like I said, I've had this discussion with Will on my podcast, Swerve City Podcast, and I was saying like everything is like comes to one thing. All these different elements of like walking to the ring, like looking at the camera, the way the camera's looking at me, posing, what I'm wearing, does it match the energy of like the opponent? Does it match the energy of the city that I'm in, the arena, the atmosphere? All these things come into play before the bell even rings, and then that amplifies it even more. All that tension and suspense and that build up goes into the art of the performance in the ring and the competing. And then you add in stipulations like a Texas death match. Then you add in like stakes, like a world championship or number one contendership. That changes all those different elements, make up who the person is in the ring and who's fighting for what and how they're fighting. You know.
Swerve, one of the topics that we have discussed here on Busted Open amongst myself, LaGreca, Dreamer, Mark Henry, was how you have been positioned post winning the championship. We've questioned it. We believe that you should be positioned and featured a little better. So I'm going to take you back to week 1 after you won the championship. You came out and you had a match right after the opening of the show. It didn't seem like the match was befitting of a world champion's first appearance after winning the championship. When you see that you're in a match and not in a segment and not speaking, how do you feel about that? What is your frame of mind? And would you have preferred to do something different?
Of course, I prefer to do something different. Of course, but that's the element of like being now and then getting it back the next show and then beginning back the following week. You got to constantly grow. We grow and you get other opportunities. Like for me, this championship reign is always going to it's going to keep ascending and going up. Next week is always going to be better than the week before, and then the next week is always going to be better than the week before. It's going to keep going up. I'd rather it keep going up than going down.
Okay. So you're saying you're growing with this championship.
Yeah, and the people are growing with me as a champion.
Okay. Now, you're here in New York City. You've come to New York City many, many times for many different reasons. But now you're coming in here with that world championship. And not only are you an AEW World Champion, you're a performer, you're a rapper. Bully and I got to see that firsthand on the Jericho cruise, which was amazing. Tore the house down. What are you doing here in New York? What's the reason you came into New York?
Well, tonight we have the House of Dragons premiere. That's coming back on HBO. That's a partner with Warner Brothers Discovery, and which is why we did the promotion match with myself versus Kill Switch on Dynamite this past week. So there's a business sense of why that match was made, and also storyline and like personal sense of those things, why it was done at that time, that place, that moment, to build up to the media and the business outside of those things.
How do you like doing the media? Now that you're a champion, like there's a lot more opportunities to do media. How do you feel about that responsibility?
I've always been the first one to raise my hand for media. I've always before a championship of like the world title and before the tag championships, I was always like looking to like get myself out there more, get what ways I can like talk to people and promote, be one of the faces of the company, be one of like the ones that's making appearances, bigging up the company, talking about like, and like just expressing, like I said, this is an art form for me. Even promoting is an art form for me. Promoting, going to speak with people, talking like open up why this means so much to me, why I choose to be here, why this is important for me, and why it should be important for you. Because like if there's fans of mine that's watching me, and like if they not sure of like where what's going on and all that stuff, and I can express to them in my way why this is important, what I see, my perspective, it may change their perspective and make them see it in a different way too. Just open up their mind, or like just give them a different type of way of looking at things, you know. So that's the fun part for me, just influence. Like we have influencers, I want to influence.
Swerve, Bully and I both, we studied the business, and we know that you wouldn't be where you are without review and studying the history of wrestling. One of the things about the champion and carrying the title is the introduction of the champion. And that's something that I would like to see more with you. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we'll hear from our world champion, Swerve Strickland. And later on, Swerve Strickland has got a match. I want the packages, and I want the production of the show to feature them talking about the champion,
which we have.
You talk, yeah, they're doing it even more now than they did that first night. That's why Bully brought up that first night.
Yeah, there's literally been time tickers of when I'm about to pop up on the screen, and now I'm popping up on the screen like three times a night. You know, in different promos. I'm like getting live promo shots where I'm like, all right, we got to shoot it right now. Boom. I'm like, okay, cool. And now I'm popping up like I'm having a presence on Collision even when I'm not there. I shot like the last promo you just saw on Collision ending the show. I shot that in my house the day before just because I'm like, what do y'all need? Like, boom. Like, and I like to keep myself presentable at any time. Anytime, like I said, I call myself the boogeyman of pro wrestling for a reason. Like you say my name, I pop up anytime. You never know. So I like a little bit of that factor too, of just like you never know when I'm going to pop up. Like remember when Samoa?
You don't like scary stuff.
I know.
Man. Don't be doing that.
Just like at this, when Samoa Joe faced Dustin Rhodes at the end of the show, I popped up again. Boom. And I like that factor of like, you never know when I'm going to pop up, if I'm going to pop up at all. So keep watching, because sometimes not being announced is a good thing too, to keep you wondering, oh man, they said his name. Is that going to have implications in this segment with this character, with this show? It's like sometimes I don't like leading people on to what's about to happen. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's just like let the people just watch, and then like let them make their own like imagination run wild.
And that's kind of worked to your advantage in a way, even with the story with Hangman Page, because you did some really bad things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the fans sided with you to the moment when you won that. It's like they were behind you.
Because they didn't know. And like, imagine if like before the video of me doing the home invasion, like Swerve's video coming up in 30 minutes, announcing that coming up, that takes the illusion and the scare and the suspense away from it. The fact that happened. Imagine if like you knew that I was going into Nick Wayne's home and we had a video package prepared and we were just announcing it and promoting it on social media the whole day. Swerve has something to show that takes the whole illusion of why I'm doing something wrong. You know, like that's kind of like what makes the rebel the rebel. You know.
Were you surprised that the fans sided with you?
No, I just wanted a reaction period.
Okay.
I just wanted a reaction, and the emotion will take care of that later. But I need the reaction, and then we'll play on the emotion of the reaction after that. That's where it becomes fun. That's where it becomes art. I get to play with your emotions on how you reacted to it. And that's where like I can like start changing how I do things, how I walk, how I look. Like people like don't like the way my eyes looked. Okay, but it's identifiable, and you get an emotional reaction to how I look, whether you like it or not. Just like now I showed my grill with the championship. I'll announce that on social media. Some people like it, some people don't. But you react to it, and you have an emotional tie to me, and some semblance of things. So it's a lot of trial and error and throwing things out there to see just how people react. You know, like now in today's society, it gets a little scary how far you can really push things, but that's what AEW is here for. It is to push those things. MJF does it all the time, and that's what made him him. That's what makes him like that reaction of when is he coming back? When is he coming back? Because you know he has that ability to just play on reaction and emotion and push boundaries a little bit. So you can't always announce those things when something's about to come up. Some people just need to just watch and a little bit of that FOMO of when like, wait, that happened last night? Yeah, you should have been watching. Like, man, I gotta stay up on it next week, or I gotta go to social media and do this because I don't want to miss the next one. Because you need it's a lot of give and take and trial and error with those things.
Swerve, over the years, you've shared a ring with Will Ospreay a couple of times. Dynamite goes off the air last week. Will Ospreay wins the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal, and you'll be facing each other at the next premium live event. You're face to face with Will last week.
We don't do PLEs. We got pay-per-views, man.
Pay-per-view. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, pay-per-views, PLEs. Thanks for correcting me. Appreciate it. So you're face to face with Will Ospreay. Okay, and tell me what that. Tell me about that face to face. How was it different? A different feeling, a different look, a different vibe, a different aura. You and Will one more time.
Man, I feel like this is going to be me and Will several more times. Like we've had honestly like bouts throughout the last 10 years. I've wrestled him when he was in a 4-way. The first time I came to the UK like 10 years ago, and he was just like 19-year-old kid, and I was like, this dude is cocky, arrogant, and he knows how good he is then, and I was like, I love him. I love everything about him. And like standing across from him all the way that done 10 years, all the way just standing across from each other on not live television. Like, I'm a world champion, he's an international champion, we're headliners now. Is like, I couldn't be more proud of him. It's like, man, I knew it then, and now it's like, I'm happy to share this moment with you, and he's like equal. Like we really like looking forward to this moment, and it feels like a generation. Like, this is the evolution of what All Elite Wrestling is. This is the generation of like that jump, like two young guys in their prime. Like, and I still feel like Will hasn't even entered into his prime yet. He still has like still more ways to go because he's that good, and I know how his mind works. And it's going to keep evolving for the next 5 years. And the fans of AEW in the wrestling world are they're so blessed to be able to watch it happen for the next 5 years of where he's going to evolve into next. So like, they've been watching my evolution process for the last 2 years, and I'm still going to keep evolving, but they're watching us like, boom, go head to head and like to headline a pay-per-view that I haven't even had a main roster match yet. I haven't even been on the main card yet. So, and then Will also hasn't main evented a pay-per-view yet either. So we're kind of complimenting one another. It's like, do I need you or do you need me? You know, did I get you here or did you get me here? So there's a lot of little cool things just like in that little moment of like, and a lot of the unpredictability. You don't know which way it's going to go. Will's on such a hot streak and like that nobody's ever seen before in AEW. And I'm on such a rise and like a culture shifting, momentous thing that I have going on. People aren't ready to see it like go away yet. People, they expected to see it here, but now they're getting it here. It's like, oh wow, it shocks the people. Once again, we got the reaction. Now we're about to play with the emotions of it, all the way leading up to Forbidden Door.
Swerve, in lieu of a traditional push, I just want to follow up and say I believe that you and Will got yourselves there on your own. I don't think it was about a traditional push. I think it's the way you and Will have maximized your time and your opportunity and gotten over with the fan base. But I want to follow up on something you said about Will. what do you know about Will, or what do you see in Will that you're looking forward for fans like us to see the next evolution of? Because I don't know how much more can Will do out there that we have not seen yet.
That's something you have to watch the match for. That's something I don't want to put out there to the world. What do I see? I see a lot. It's up to me to hold that in and showcase that at Forbidden Door. That's what we're selling. You know, right now we have the wrestling version of Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. That's what I see.
Swerve, you mentioned earlier about, are you doing it for him or is he doing it for you? Like, is it important to you to say Swerve Strickland elevated the product?
I feel like I'm shining a different light on the product. One person doesn't elevate a product anymore. I feel like everybody elevates with the product. I feel like it's always a team effort. Even like Mercedes helps elevate the product as well. Like myself, I help elevate it in a way. Moxley helps elevate it. You know, Copeland was helping elevate it. You know, like I feel like all of us, Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin, we all elevate this product together. There's not just one person. I'm just in a position to shine a different light on it than any other former champion has done. You know, just Floyd Mayweather walking into MGM to just watch my match means a lot. That means something. He came in just to watch the show, watch my match, because he heard All Elite Wrestling has a black world champion and he wanted to come in and support that. That right there already shifts the culture in a way that not a lot of other former world champions have been able to do. And just me being out there performing. So just imagine what more I can do.
You know, Swerve, I know how much you've dedicated your life to pro wrestling. We talked about it before. You wanted to do absolutely everything. You've done scientific, technical, death match wrestling, everything, so you could say that you've excelled at every form of this art form called pro wrestling. Now you're a world champion. Here you are doing media rounds in New York City. You're a rapper. You're a performer on stage. You have the Swerve City podcast as a podcast host. Like, is this kind of what you've always kind of built towards? To not just be a pro wrestler, but a performer, to be an artist, you know, to show the world like that there's many sides to your personality, to who you are. Has this kind of been the goal the whole time?
I'm still on my way. I'd still say I'm on my way. My goal ultimately is to be exceptional at it, but I haven't even touched that yet. So that's where I'm going to keep going. And all this is just still reps till I'm become truly exceptional at all those forms. You know, I'm still playing around with things, trying things. I'm accomplishing them, and I'm happy about that, but there's still so much more to go, so much more room for growth, and there's still much more other things to tap into and collab those things. I'm in a great place. Tony Khan believes in me, and he trusts me, which is the biggest thing. Like having build up the equity with him and then the trust with it to just be like, nope, Swerve got it. We can trust him. He's not going to damage our product. He's not going to damage his brand or anything like that. He's going to do, we know if we give him something, he's going to be great with it. And we're going to get an ROI in this. So for me, it's just to be just exceptional at all these things, which feels kind of impossible to do. But that's why I'm going to keep trying for the impossible.
All right, so bring me to that moment.
Yeah.
You know, at Dynasty, you beat Samoa Joe to win the championship. You know, in that moment, the company is behind you. They're saying, you're the guy, you're our guy, you're our top guy. Talk about that moment for you, and what's it like knowing that this huge company is putting you at the top?
Being on the top rope feel like the lyrics "top rope catch a vibe." That's literally what that moment meant. I literally caught a vibe of like the last 15 years of like grinding and being broke, all the little things of like those roadblocks, those obstacles I had to swerve around and figure out, all those things I had to like overcome, all the doubt and all those things, like being like I still I don't have those messages anymore, but I still think about all the promoters that told me no, and the bookings that are like nope, or like nope, we can't pay you, we can't do this. I'm like, okay, cool, and I just went around and went above that. Then like those same guys came back asking for those bookings again, and I was just like, I'm not interested. Just like that power position, and my goal is to just always be in a position to never have to like ask for handouts, and I just always wanted to be in a position to just be like, no, I'm gonna put myself, I'm gonna work harder, and I'm gonna experiment and like change things and do such things in a unique way that is so unique to me that I'm never gonna try to ask for a handout ever again. I want to be always want to be in a position to write my own ticket, and that's what this was for. That's all I ever wanted to do. Like I never wanted to like stop anybody from getting theirs. Like if anything, we can get ours together. Make sure we make a team and we just all grind up and go up together. It's not really possible sometimes with certain personalities, but we try. But I always wanted to be in a position to just be like, no, I can do this when I need to or when I want to.
Swerve, you ever get any FaceTime with any of those people that doubted you, that didn't come up with the money for you, or said, you know, I got option A and option B, and you know I can't pay you. I'm gonna go with option A, and you weren't the option A.
Yeah.
You ever run into any of those people?
Oh, I see them now face to face. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Always.
What's your reaction to them?
Oh,
Are you like me and Bully, where you go to them and say, "Hey, what's up? Remember me?" Or are you stand back in the cut and take the high road?
I have my moments. Like I remember, like one of these promoters, they owed me money from like 6 years ago, and he came to me at a signing with the cash in hand to give it to me, and I said, "No, you got it. Keep it. I don't need it anymore."
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great feeling.
Ooh.